Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for joining. So in the beginning, my variegated string of hearts was just a small little pot, and I had no idea that she would grow like a weed. I had already cut her back twice before, and this time I wanted her to grow long as she did the very first time, but I noticed that she was kind of bare at the top of her pot, so I decided to propagate her once again. I also threw a few cuttings of regular string of hearts in her pot as well. This is the top of her pot. It is very bare, as you can see. So I'm going to prep this soil. I went ahead and filled up a pot of soil, and I'm going to moisten it before I add the cuttings to it. So here I have my water. I'm just going to drizzle the soil until it's nice and wet, until it comes out of the bottom of the pot. Now I went ahead and I filled her up with water twice just to make sure that her center was nice and wet. I want my soil to be thoroughly wet before I place the cuttings on top. The technique I will be using today is the butterfly method. There are different ways you can propagate your string of heart. In the past, I've shared how I've propagated my string of heart by water. This time, I'm going to be doing it totally different, just to see if I can get a fuller pot this way. So here is what I'm working with. I don't want to cut it completely back to the base. Where I'm pointing is where I think I'm going to stop with the cutting, because I still want it to be able to trail. Now if you notice, I'm not giving it a blunt cut. I'm taking each string and taking my time and cutting it at a place where it looks presentable and not too blunt of a cut, if you know what I mean. But I do want to line it up with the rest, and some of the strands that are a little bit longer, I'm just going to keep them because they weren't much longer than the rest, and I don't think it looked too bad. I think it turned out quite nice. So here's what I'm left with of my mother plant. She still looks healthy. She's still trailing. She's still thin at the top of her pot, and I'm gonna do something about that. Hopefully this works. I'm gonna take a few of her strands and wrap it along the top of her pot. Off camera, I'm going to add some more soil. That way the strings are touching and hopefully root. Check out my new mug. So here I'm just taking each strand that I cut from the plant, and I'm going to cut them in single nodes, as you see here. This was very repetitive, so I definitely had to speed up the video. Now after all my strands are cut, I'm going to take each node and I'm going to place them in the soil like so. I'm going to do this with each and every one of them until my pot is full or until I run out of cuttings. I would also like to mention, although this is very simple to do, it is very tedious. It may take some time. So if you're going to do this, I advise you to put a little time to the side, because yeah, you're gonna need it. As you saw me doing there, I was just removing some of the bark out of the way so that I have more room to place my cutting. And voila, we're done. As you can see, I have a full pot and it's looking good, and we're just gonna keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. Now, although I watered the soil, I'm also gonna top the cuttings off just to get them settled into the soil. I'm not gonna put much because it's already wet. As you can see, I'm just going around and drizzling a little bit on the top. So we're just gonna dive right into 2 weeks later and show you what my mother plant is looking like. As you can see, it has new growth, but still not looking quite full. I don't know if I should wrap more strands around the top. I don't know, but it's definitely grown a bit since chopping her back. It looks like she's recovering well. As you can see, the little babies showing out. Hey. Yeah, it's a very beautiful plant, and the mother plant is still looking good. Look at all the little babies. Yeah, I think I may wrap more across the top and maybe bobby pin it down this time and see what happens there. But yeah, let's move on to the propagation. So first I'm going to show you a plant that I did off camera. I basically took the leftover strands and I placed them in some leca with some water, nutrient water that is, and it's looking good. Has some new growth going on. I must say that I'm pleased. My leaves are curling a bit, so I don't know what that's all about, but overall this is a beautiful plant. Now let's check on those butterfly cuttings, because I know that's what you're waiting on. As you can see, I have her sitting underneath a dome, getting nice humidity going on. And as you can see, this dome I picked up from the dollar store has a vent at the top, but I don't really keep it open. But as you can see, it's been working. I see growth, guys. Look at all those little babies. Oh my gosh, this makes me so excited. Can't wait till I see some trailing going on. I think this just might work. I've seen other people doing this in other videos, but I never quite done it myself, and I must say I am very pleased with the outcome so far. Now remember the 2 strands of regular string of heart that I showed you earlier? Well, I went ahead and propagated that as well. And look, I have a full pot and it is growing as well. I keep her under a dome also. And yes, I'm so happy because I lost my regular string of hearts, so now I have her again, and it was just that simple. So after filling up that pot, I was left with 2 strands of regular string of heart again. So I went on ahead and popped it in my mini propagation station, and I'm just gonna watch it root. And it's looking good as well. It's growing some new leaves. Everybody seems to be happy, and I'm loving that. So time has gone by and it has officially been 1 month. And as you can see, my mother plant still looks the same in a sense on the top. But in length, she is giving me life. She has put out many babies, as you can see. All those baby leaves coming in. So she seems to be happy, but yeah, I didn't pin her down like I said I would. So she just living life how she living. She just bald. And I don't know, y'all. I guess I'm just gonna have to really pin her down at the top and stop being lazy about it. But as you can see, she is growing no matter what, and she loving life here. Well, I guess it's time we go check on our propagation in leca and see how she's doing. She's looking a bit full. This time I have her leaves all placed together so you can see how she is falling. And I think she's looking good as well. She has plenty of new growth. Now that you've seen how they're doing, let's check out this big pot. There she goes. The babies are getting much longer and extending themselves. I now keep her with the dome away from the pot. I don't keep her covered up. I have her acclimating to my natural air in my home, and she seems to be transitioning just fine. I'm so happy with the outcome of this plant, guys. You just don't understand. Every time I take a look at this plant, it seems like she's perked up even more than the last time. So hopefully by the next time you guys see this plant, she is trailing over. Now when I say my regular string of hearts been showing out, y'all, I mean she been showing out. Look at her leaves. She is basically spilling over the sides of her planter. Before you know it, this plant is going to be trailing beautifully, and I think she's going to be very full. I think she's going to be fuller than the variegated string of hearts. I don't know. We have to wait and see. Well, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching, and as I always say, enjoy peace, spread love, and be blessed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the notification bell so that you never miss a post. Share with all your planty friends. And follow me on my Instagram so that we can interact.